Hello, we are from the Universitas Katolik Indonesia Santu Paulus Ruteng. This video was made to complete one of the group segment of the cross-culture understanding course with the teaching teacher Miss Josefina Helena Rajem. We from group of 4 consists of 3 members who each work together to complete this task. So let's go straight. Here is the video from our group. Developing culture sensitivity. Culture sensitivity, both discovered as a term more commonly used in literature search from global baseline data, but popular and scientific in 2008. Culture sensitivity is being applied to one knowledge, consideration, understanding, respect, and mistake after reaching one's self-awareness. Other people and dealing with diverse group or individuals. Then culture is a group of certain people which include language, religion, cuisine, social custom, music, and art. Culture sensitivity occurs when a person develops an understanding that families in culture group are very different. They may differ in the way they express norm or the extent to which they develop norm, such as the culture sensitivity of Indonesians and Europeans. There are many striking differences. For example, Indonesians who need to develop sensitivity to European culture when they visit there. Sometimes, those of us who are visiting a new country for the first time will find a culture that is far different from the culture we were born with. In order to avoid feeling uncomfortable about the new culture, we need to be sensitive to the culture that is in the new country we are visiting. For example, if we are Indonesian for the first time visiting a European country, of course we will feel uncomfortable seeing foreigners using open clothes. However, we do not really think that wearing open clothing is a culture for foreigners. Therefore, we need to understand it.
And then we will explain some of the customs we need to know about the prevailing culture in Indonesia and in Europe. The first, discipline obeying the rules. Here related to the rules that are made to make things better. But the rules will have no meaning if they are not enforced. Things seem very orderly and clear in Europe. Case in point, sign like crossing the street. If the crosswalk sign is still red, no one will cross the road even though the road is empty. Second, respect for pedestrian. The rule in Western country that a pedestrian has stepped off the sidewalk means that the car must make way. Whereas in Indonesian, it is most inversely proportional, whereas pedestrians must respect the drivers. Besides that, there are also many drivers who like to break out even though they know the red light is still on. The third, as well as appreciating where the dividers. In some European countries, almost all self-service cave customers return tray of dirty cutlery. So when we leave the table is clean and can be used again by another customer. There is no story that visitors have to call the waiters first to clean the table because usually the waiters there are very errant and able. Trays containing dirty dishes are usually placed on the rack that are specially provided for that. If there are no shelves, return them to the counter or the kitchen. Perhaps this culture can be developed by expensive human resource abroad, so that usually a busy cave has 3 staff. Even a small shop is sometimes only operated by 1 person without assistant. While working with food stall in Indonesia, where sometimes that employees jealous at the end because there are too many workers and not many jobs. In Indonesia, work as a waiter sits at the bottom. In Europe, don't expect the waiters to be very friendly and polite when ordering food. And the last is to know priorities. For example, in Indonesia, when you see an ambulance passing every car on the road, you have to make way for the ambulance, and this gives an advantage to the cars behind because they can also go fast. But if there is a traffic clock in the middle of the road, then the ambulance and the car behind is too caught in the traffic. It is different in some European countries. If there are ambulance siren from the distance, then there is a lane in front and a queue of car. Suddenly, in just a few seconds, the road open and ambulance has passed. This can happen because there are several cars that make sacrifice for the ambulance. The truck that was in front of the ambulance immediately turned into the parking lot of the closest building. The ambulance could continue driving.
So, the conclusion is culture is a way of life that develops and is shared by a group of people and is inherited from generation to generation. Culture consists of many complex elements, including religion and political system, custom, language, tools, clothing, building, and art. Language as well as culture is an integral part of the age of transmission, so that many people tend to perceive it as literal and genetic inheritance. Culture is a complete that including knowledge, belief, art, moral, law, custom, and habit carried out by a group of community members. Formulate all the work, teach and creation of society. Community work produces knowledge and culture material or material culture that is needed by human to master the surrounding environment so that its strength and result can be devoted to the needy society.